Where is this information posted?
This is like on the dark web. Hey, do you want to go to Bangladesh? And like at that point in time, they could have said North Korea. And like when they said Bangladesh, I was like, I don't even know where the fuck Bangladesh is. And then I went to all the law enforcement agency, police stations around there, and I asked them, like, hey, show me all the traffickers you arrested. We're doing a story. And then like all the girls were like 12 to 15 that were being arrested. Trafficker calls me back like 10 minutes later. He's like, yeah, I'm not coming there. I'll meet you out front. So now I'm like, damn, am I being set up? This was to prove that girls are being trafficked from the Rohingya refugee camp. I would probably say the Bangladesh rescue. So that's a kind of funny how it started. So I had worked this case with a team from DARPA, worst pedophile in UK history. 5 years he was wanted. Homeland Security brought me in, and then 3 months later he was captured. We don't know what we did or what we provided. If we had something, we just provided information, he was captured. But I had worked with this team from DARPA. They were working on a special project. Pretty sure that project name's classified, but it doesn't matter. So they call me up and they're like, hey, BBC World News, we found some stuff in the dark web. They want to see if somebody could go on the ground and bang it. They're like, we can't tell you where it is. Just fly up to DC. It's like, I'm going up there on a Friday. Well, that Thursday, I got like an entrepreneur, because it was a for-profit side of things, award, and the organization's like, hey, could you take this fucking couple out there in town? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll take them out, I'll show them Charlotte. Well, we go out there, this like woman gets like sexually assaulted, so the guy's about to get in a fight, and so I'm breaking it up, and this dude just fucking literally goes down the pipe and fucking blasts me in the face. I'm like, why the fuck did you just punch me, for it? So now I have this fucking massive shiner. Like, fucking next day I'm flying to fucking meet at the DARPA fucking headquarters, and like I have this fucking the BBC World News, and I got this fucking now massive. I mean, my face is like purple, and you know what I mean. Like, but he punched like a bitch, so it was like, I'm like, fuck. So they go up, so I walk in the room and I got this shiner. I'm like, and they want me to go undercover. I'm like, maybe I fit the part now for it. And so then they show me the shit he says online. And this guy was talking about like, hey, just don't have sex with kids. Bring your own kid home. This is how you get your kid from a refugee camp and bring them back to the U.S. And he gave a very detailed rat line. And they're going through and they're like,
where is this information posted?
This is like on the dark web. This is the program that they did. They were doing a good job. I'll leave that out. I don't want to give too much of their tactics. So we had it. This mess stuff wasn't supposed to be saved, but we had it saved. And so they're like, hey, do you want to go to Bangladesh? And like at that point in time, they could have said North Korea. And like, I'm going to go.
100%.
Because I have this black eye. They fucking flew all the way out there. And they're like, Bangladesh. And they're like, all right, fucking like what? I don't know. Like, I'm going to go as a singleton with what BBC representatives. So they put me on a J visa. And like when they said Bangladesh, I was like, I don't even know where fuck Bangladesh is. Like you think I would have done a little bit more research before agreeing to this? And it's 1 million Muslim refugees that are there that are, they're saying being trafficked from a refugee camp. So I'm like, let's go. And so they're like, all right, 2 weeks. Let's do this. And so I went there with the BBC. They put me as a journalist. So Bangladesh police don't know. Like their government doesn't know that I'm working undercover. U.S. government, I'm not really talking or dealing with them because it didn't matter. I told the RSO that I was in country. And yeah, we just started walking through the camps, like flying in. And so I was wanting to try to see is like, there's two ways to look at it. Like, can I watch them do it? Like trafficking. And like the first day I realized it's a complete shit show. Like it's just fucking mayhem. We're just walking through these refugee camps, and you see poverty at a whole different level when you've been to a refugee camp, especially that one. Yeah. And yeah, so we did that. Within a few days, it was like, okay, we interviewed 2 girls. So Sam interviewed the 2 girls, found out how they were trafficked. And they were young, they were like 13 to 15-year-old girls. They usually have like a 3-month time window, so they get raped and abused in 3 months in these hotel rooms and they get brought back or killed. And so it wasn't too hard. We had to fix it and then find us a trafficker that could get us girls and worked it. So I had to collect all this information, right? And then I went to all the law enforcement agency, police stations around there, and I asked them, like, hey, show me all the traffickers you arrested. We're doing a story. And then like, all the girls were like 12 to 15 that were being arrested, So it's an Islamic country. We're dealing with a huge refugee crisis. And yeah, it was like, damn, okay, this is a fucking tough situation. I had to have a really solid case. So then I'm dealing with the trafficker and everything like that, and I'm through my fixer, I'm getting information, and I was able to have him do a certain technique where I save the EXIF data and metadata from a picture that I could forensically prove that these girls are actually in his control. Because the worst thing, I could go in any fucking country and I can give $2,000 to any fucking taxi cab driver and they'll get me a fucking kid. Now, whether that fucking child's traffic, you don't know. So you have to play this thing between creating a demand and actually like in control, but you can do that through digital means. And so I had this EXIF data, and I could have had, if he had these location services turned on, I could have had it lat long, 10-digit grid exactly where these girls are being held. And so that goes down, so we get the whole fucking case, and then we go to the police, we show them what they have, and they're like, no, we're not doing it. We're like, okay, well, then we had to go up to DACA, and finally, so like 8 days passed, like doing all this shit. And then finally, they're like, okay, we'll do it. So I have like this hotel room set up like fucking Chris Hansen to Catch a Predator. You know what I mean? Like Trevor's gonna go through security and like he'll be patted down and like take all the risk out of it, have law enforcement there. And then law enforcement comes up to like, we can't do this. That's one of our sources. I was like, motherfuckers. So like, no, like we're fucking doing it. You just said it on camera, dickhead. You know what I mean? Like you're doing this fucking operation. So like I got to piss him at this guy. He's like, fine, we'll do it. Trafficker calls me back like 10 minutes later. He's like, yeah, I'm not coming there. I'll meet you out front. So now I'm like, damn, am I being set up? You know what I mean? Like, how's this fucking working? So we go, I'm like, fuck it. I'll do it on the beach. So me and my interp go down there and like they send a fucking scout out, a recon dude. And like I see a red hoodie and I'm all mic'd up and all camera. Like this is all recorded and on YouTube. And sure as shit, that red hoodie, I'm like, yo, 8 o'clock red hoodie's coming up. And this is kind of like, where we have the biggest threat we have is because we have money on us, criminal enterprises, you know what I mean? I'm staged out front. Like that's kind of where the risk comes. For the most part, this is, if you do it right, you mitigate a lot of the risk. So sure shit, that red hoodie dude, and I'm like, comes up, he's like, hey, come with me up there. And it's like all dark. I'm like, fuck that, I'm not going. And so then the driver brings the girls down, pull the girls out, and like it just works smoothly. You know what I mean? So like between that 10 minutes window, you had setting up like 8 police officers in the crowd, getting everything, and it kind of all worked fucking out. For it,
And this was the UK guy?
What's that? No, this was to prove that girls are being trafficked from the Rohingya refugee camp.
Okay.
This is the first rescue of like an American buying children from a refugee camp for it. And so that was to make a statement and create the fear that like, hey, this is happening. So it was like from the internet to there. Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, a refugee camp with all that chaos, it'd be the perfect place to do it in plain sight.
People embed themselves in these nonprofits. You know what I mean? Like this guy gave the recipe online of like, this is how you do it. We had to try to see if it's possible. And it was. I was able to buy my own kid, for the night. So there was 2 of them we pulled out. There was a 15-year-old and a 21-year-old.